Hello! This is a quick screencast informational bit here about how to make a graph when you've got data that's numerical in both columns. Numbers is a little bit funky when you try to do something like this, as you'll see from the example. Typically, when you're making a graph, such as how many bikes did my family own each year, you would highlight both columns worth of data, go to your charts, and because we're trying to show change over time, we'd probably pick a line graph. But we get something that looks sort of funky and ugly like this. What you'll notice here, these are the years being plotted, these are the bikes being plotted. Because the data are so far apart, they appear as straight lines. I wouldn't want them both appearing there anyways, and really that chart is no good to us whatsoever. So we're not going to make a chart that way. We're going to delete that chart and go back to our data set, and instead we have to use a little bit of a workaround. When you've got data that is numeric for both values, you need to only highlight the one that you're interested in. Okay, it's different from making other charts. So because I want to look at the change in the bikes, I'm going to highlight that column and I'm going to create a chart from that. Make my line graph, and this time you'll see that it appears a little bit more like we want it to. I'll move it up next to the data so that you can take a look at it next to the data. So there's my chart. Okay, it's got the bikes, it's got the info on here. In order to make things work out with titles, there are a couple of steps that you can take. Okay, because I'm looking at the y-axis, I'd come over here to my axis, to the x-axis rather. You come over here to my axis control, and if you see down here on category x-axis, there are these labels: Untitled 1, Untitled 2, Untitled 3. You need to replace those untitles with this other numerical data. Okay, so Untitled 1 will be the year 2001, Untitled 2 will be the year 2002, etc., etc. Okay, you can do this either through the labels section here, or you can actually go through and type it on the chart. I'm going to do it here in the category axis because not all of my labels are showing, and I'll show you how to fix that in a second. But let's change Untitled 1. We said that was 2001. Okay, Untitled 2 was 2002. Untitled 3 was 2003. Untitled 4 was 2004. Untitled 5 was 2005. And Untitled 6 was 2006. And you'll notice how these are showing up now on the graph each time I do it. Make sure that you click the accept button there. All right. And if it should happen that all of your titles don't show up, you can go right here to this label every category. It sets the interval, right? Do you want every other category? Do you want every category? If you want every category to show, just type in 1. If you want every other category, type in 2. If you want every third category, type in 3, etc., etc., etc. Okay. You'll also notice that we've got decimals here along the side, and obviously I didn't own 5.25 bikes. I want to make sure that my interval is set usually to whatever my maximum value is when I'm dealing with small numbers. So I'm going to make my y-axis steps 7 because my maximum is 7. So now my graph is really starting to take shape where you can see that it shows the number of bikes over years. A couple of formatting pieces that you can do. Take note that if you want to, you click on the line and you can change the color of the line. You have this option right up here. When you click on the line, you can choose a particular color. If I make it red, it's pretty red, but look, the circles don't change. The circles are independent, so you can have them be separate colors, or if you click on one of the circles, click on one of the circles. There you go, Mr. Stutz. Alright, now I've got only the circles and I want to change those. Let's make them yellow. Now they're yellow. And if I want to go even further, I can change the fill of them. Make that a green fill. And now I've got, oh, that's pretty heinous. Let's try purple. Better. Okay, so I've got now a graph that's Beautiful. I've got my data labels across the bottom. I've got my key here that shows bikes. I obviously need to change the name of the graph. How many bikes did my family own? Get rid of that 7 there. Okay, I can keep the key, or you can always come over here to the inspector and change the way the chart shows, right? If I have show legend, it will show that bikes. If I get rid of that, it gets rid of it as well. Okay, and then what I would need to do is go back to my axes, and I can show the title for each axis. Okay, here's to be my y-axis where it shows value title. I will need to fill that in. And let's do this for the x-axis as well. Show title, I will need to fill that in. So my y-axis value title, I go and click on it. Number of bikes. Beautiful. And my category title is years. Okay. And now you've got a beautiful line graph showing change over time. How many bikes did my family own? Okay. Typically, the formatting stuff you'll have to do on all regular charts, but the changing of the labels for the x-axis is a big concern when you're dealing with a data set that is numeric for both the y and the x-axis. Numbers does not handle it very well, and you'll need to do this little workaround to make a pretty graph like that. Enjoy, good luck, and ask your teacher if you need help. Bye-bye.